Okay, so I've opted to buying the same heated grips as I had on before. So these ones that I put on when my bike was on about 69,000. And you can see the difference. The nice new ones, the old ones. So they've been on for over 30,000 miles now. And yeah, I'm really chuffed with them really because they've lasted a really good amount of time. And I really like this feature up here where it actually turns off when you turn your engine off on the bike, because some of them don't do that. This is like a battery saving kind of element. First, I'm going to take these off, and once I've taken these off, then I'm going to cut off the old hand grips, heated grips. Bit dirty, isn't it? Right, I knew this side was going to be a bit harder to get off than the other because that was already a bit loose actually. It had been an advisory on an MOT because there was movement in it. Whereas this one, it's been properly wedged on. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to prise a flathead between the heated grip and the actual throttle plastic, and then spray WD-40 around it. Leave that to soak in, come back in 5 minutes once I made a cup of tea, spray a little bit more on, heat it up with my hairdryer, continue the process and gradually try and basically lever around that with the flathead as I go. That's great. I haven't even used the hairdryer yet, and actually just from using that flathead, it's now split the bottom of the plastic part, the plastic element in the heated grip. So I'm just going to keep going with the flathead, pushing in there, ripping that apart, and hopefully that actually will come off a little bit easier than I thought it would. Voila! Excellent. So I've just checked the length of these. I've actually accidentally ordered sports grips rather than the adventure grips. Not that I think it will really matter too much. I'll soon find out once I've used them for a little while. It's just different kind of texture, but can't say I really mind these. So on the other ones, I did cut them down a bit, but these don't look too bad. So I don't know if I just did it unnecessarily on the other ones I had, or whether the other ones were a little bit longer. But I've tried putting the bar ends on, and they actually seem to still screw on okay. So I'm going to leave these at the current length, and then I can always trim them off if I need to once they're glued on. So I have pushed that on temporarily. It looks okay, so I just screwed it off again. So now I'm going to put a bit of the super glue provided in the pack on these sections here. I have cleaned them up and WD-40 JCF50 them as well. So yeah, and I'm just going to slide these on, wait for them to stick, and then sort out all the electrical bits. So now this little section here that you get with them, I'm just going to connect that up to the battery. Really self-explanatory, the red on the positive, the black on the negative terminal. That's all screwed in, and then the other end of that will then clip on to the connection on the actual temperature control unit. Like so. I like to put a little bit of blue grease in there as well when I'm doing the connections. And there's quite a lot of excess cable on this. I do just keep mine cable tied up, and then I'll end up tucking it away down here neatly. I'm sure you could trim that down if you were clever enough, but I'm just being lazy again and kind of just keeping it all there. I suppose it's that long because a lot of bikes, the battery is further back, normally under the seat or something. Whereas obviously on the F650s, the batteries are really high up and close to the front of the bike. But yeah, so now these two little connections here, one will go on the left handlebar, and then one will go on the right. So I'm just going to put a bit of blue grease in there, connect them up. And I'm actually going to electrical tape all these up together before I put them down here. Again, it will just keep it neat and tidy, and it will stop any kind of rainwater or anything affecting the terminals. So I'll put the temperature control on now, and I've just used a bolt which is actually used for the handguard mount. Right, so I'm just going to bleed the rear brake quickly with my partner. Kind of running out of time today, so I can't do too much of a detailed video on this. But this is where he'll be sitting. He's got his brake fluid ready. The cap for the brake fluid is here. Make sure that this is always above the minimum when you're bleeding them. So he'll be sitting here. He'll keep an eye on this. The brake fluid's to hand to top up whenever it gets below that mark. And then he will just be pushing on the rear brake lever, and then he'll hold that down. I'll open up the bleed nipple over here, which I've got set up already with this spanner. So I'll open that up, and then once I've watched some fluid come through, or some air bubbles that we'll probably find at the start, then I'll close it and I'll say okay to him, and then he'll lift up the pedal, and then we'll keep going. So I'll push it down, I open up, I close, he releases. As simple as that, really. And then I'm going to flush it through maybe 5-6 times. So fill up this pot here 5-6 times, because it's only a small pot, and I want to make sure I get rid of all that dirty fluid in there. So if you can push the pedal down. Down?
Down.
Okay, so I'm just going to open this, and then you can see fluid run out down the pipe. I'm going to close. Okay, pump.
Okay.
I'm going to open again. Push more fluid. Close. Okay.